passionate about police as we are, then pass bills out of this body that will help the police officers in Washington, that will help the police officers in Illinois, that will help the police officers in New Jersey.
Booker made the remarks on the Senate floor Tuesday when he objected to a bipartisan motion to pass a package funding law enforcement and said he wanted to change the bills to make sure the funds are equally distributed. The Senate is confirming President Trump's pick to head the CDC. Tuesday, lawmakers voted 51-47 along party lines to confirm Susan Monterez as the agency's new director. And Ralph Lauren is teaming up with Morehouse and Spellman for a limited edition collection. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
This year marks 20 years since Hurricane Katrina changed our city and our schools forever. New Schools for New Orleans is sharing After the Storm, a special series reflecting on the past 2 decades of change and progress in public education. Through videos, personal stories, and a powerful interactive timeline and data dashboard, we explore how our schools recovered, transformed, grew, and what that progress means for our students today. Discover the videos, data, resources, and stories behind the 20 years of change at newschoolsforneworleans.org/Katrina20.
Good morning, wake up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK.
Wake up, New Orleans. Happy Monday. Welcome to the Good Morning Show. I am your host, Dr. Ashanta Wyatt. And shout out to my super producer, Nara Sanders, and my co-host, Will Sutton.
Good morning, New Orleans.
It is Monday, August the 4th. It's already August. I saw, as I was driving into work, the kids are already at the bus stops waiting on their bus. School has started for some folk. It's so crazy. I feel like school starts earlier and earlier and earlier.
Feels like it used to be a Labor Day thing.
Yeah, I came up in the Labor Day era.
Yeah, right. So, for us,
I mean, I feel like it's getting earlier. But here's the thing: everybody knows I have one kid, Cam. That's my baby. But I have a godson. His name is Joels, and he's 4 years old, and he's going to what we call big school this year. And I think everybody's obsessed. His grandmother has lost her mind. She has engraved all of his pencils. I say he's 4. They're going to chew on them. They're going to break them. They're going to throw them away. They're going to swap pencils. I mean, I thought I was diabolical. You know, she's diabolical. That's some diabolical stuff. She engraved his entire name on his pencil. So I don't know how obsessed some of y'all are.
As if he's not going to lose them.
He's going to lose them. He's going to break them. They're going to bite off the eraser. They're going to swap them for pieces of candy. All kind of stuff is going to be going on with those pencils. And so but that's what we do.
Yeah.
That's what we do, especially when it's our first baby, first grandbaby, first something going to school or hitting some sort of milestone, we go nuts. And then our second baby, our second grandson, he just kind of like, yeah, we did this already. Come on.
That's right. Right. Well, there'll come a day where he cares very much about his pencils.
Listen, yeah, but it won't be at 4. It will not be at 4. He's not going to care. But he is actually going to big school, and everybody is excited about it. My son is excited. My son was actually with his father. And he was supposed to spend some time with his dad before he went back to school himself. But he came back to the city because my godson is getting ready to go to his first day of school in a couple days, and he wanted to be there. Yeah. He's obsessed, too, because he's spending the night at my godson's home so he can get up and help him get dressed in the morning. Everybody's losing their minds over this. Like, it's the first child ever to go to big school. I don't know. But I have it bad, too. That's my godson. So I have it extremely bad. I've been taking him out this week, just kind of like spending time with him because he's getting ready to go to school, and our time together will be limited. So,
well, one thing's clear.
What's that?
He's gonna be well prepped for school.
Oh no, he's good. So we went. So one of the things we did to kind of celebrate him going to big school, I took everybody bowling. everybody except my mom. She went to a party, but my sister, my brother,
Your mom
my
always
brother,
going somewhere.
my mom is outside. She enjoys being places and with all the things. And so I took them bowling. My godson Joel's, my son, of course. And Joel's bowled with the bumpers because he's 4, but he had the second highest score anyway. Don't blame it on the bumpers. My boy was bowling. He was bowling.
All right.
So we had a good time. And then yesterday we went to Toast to do brunch. So he's been
Very
living the life
nice.
this week.
Yeah.
I don't know. What did you do this weekend?
Well, I went to the St. Charles Avenue Baptist Social Justice Gathering. So a little weighty. It was good, small but good, dedicated crowd of folks trying to do some things. And I went to Linen Day. I didn't go to Linen Night. I went to Linen Day and caught some of the daytime moving into the evening. So it was cool to see. Well, I saw the movie Sing Sing, which I had not seen before. Very powerful movie about incarcerated brothers at Sing Sing who use arts as a part of their release. And very good movie looking at the different relationships they had and how much they depended on this program. Another example about rehabilitation as opposed to just sticking people away. And different programs, and this particular one being an arts program, a theater program, and how folks who thought that they might not have any connection to it really found their skill, their talent in that, as well as dealing with the larger population issues that come with it. It was really good. It was really good.
You know, I try to start off with some lighthearted stuff because there's some things going on locally at the state level and, of course, nationally. We're going to absolutely talk about this veto that happened at the hands of Mayor LaToya Cantrell. We're going to talk about the clerk of court records that somehow were destroyed. It's a whole bunch of things to talk about. But right now, the Divine Nine family, the Greek family, is in mourning. This over the weekend, Greek Fest happened in Texas, in Houston. And Jaden Fleming and Ronnie Burns are 2 recent graduates of Florida A&M University, and they're also members of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, and they were tragically killed in a police chase. Allegedly, apparently, it's not alleged, because there's video and everything, but apparently there was a drunk driver that a police officer spotted. He hit a couple cars, and the police initiated they tried to initiate a stop that ultimately turned into a chase because the drunk driver decided to flee instead of pulling over because I guess he knew he was drunk. And the police initiated a chase. He was going extremely fast, and these 2 young men were in a white Lexus, and they were T-boned after the drunk driver ran a red light, and they were hit. Their car spun out and burst into flames, and they were killed in Texas over the weekend. They were out there attending Greek Fest, and right now, the entire FAMU family, Kappa Alpha Psi, Divine Nine family. Everybody is talking about this because it put my brain into some things that are, happen locally here. We are under a consent decree with the New Orleans Police Department. But I often wonder why policies are not uniformed across, police departments, across states and things of that nature. Because if your goal is to stop a drunk driver so that he doesn't put innocent people in harm's way, I'm not understanding how you feel like chasing a drunk driver is going to limit the amount of danger that you're trying to prevent.
Right.
I'm that's something that I just don't quite understand. I don't know if there was another way to do this. Call ahead on the road that he's on and maybe barricade the street that he's going down, something. I just don't know how.
In jurisdictions where there is a no chase policy or a stringent no chase policy, that is what happens. So it's like even within a jurisdiction where jurisdictions may overlap with law enforcement, it might be a handoff to state police if the vehicle goes on interstate or into another parish here or county someplace else. But in some places they seem to think that the Wild Wild West approach is.
You know, and Houston it feels very much like a New Orleans to a lot of folk who used to live here, but now they live there. It's a city, you know, it feels very city-like, very party-like. And they were attending Greek Fest in a car that literally just recently graduated from college, celebrating with their fraternity. And a drunk driver, and I don't have to tell you that the drunk driver survived, right?
Mm-hmm.
He survived, no injuries.
Mm-hmm.
He walked away from the crash. But these two young men, the car was hit with such force that it spun out. I think it hit a wall and it burst into flames.
Mm.
And so here at WBOK, we want to extend our sincerest condolences to the family, friends, classmates, and the frat of Kappa Alpha Psi and the entire Divine Nine, because here's the thing. The Divine Nine is a family. We have this friendly banter amongst organizations, but this is indie love for us. The Greater Women of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. We call this indie love.
Mm-hmm.
It's, you know, we were founded in the same state, but I don't know. It's just sad. I was reading this story all weekend and just kind of getting updates, and it is extremely, extremely sad. And the craziest thing about it is I think the family is trying to get information from the police department, and they're not really being, I guess from the family's perspective, forthcoming, because the family is blaming the Houston Police Department for the death of their loved ones. Because from the family's purview, it's the comment I made earlier. If you chasing this person who is inebriated, clearly they don't have the capacity to make the best decisions because they're driving drunk already.
Mm-hmm.
If you are chasing this person, then undoubtedly you are putting more people at risk because he's trying to flee you. And I mean, he's doing so at very high rates of speed. So at what point do you retreat? I don't know. He had already hit a couple cars, but these cars were parked, which is what got the police, you know, behind him in the first place. Right. And so if he's hitting parked cars, I don't know what he thought was going to happen for cars that are actually in motion on a highway or a main thoroughfare. And these young men were driving and doing what they were supposed to be doing. This young man ran a light because he's inebriated, T-boned him, and their car burst into flames. So again, it's tragic. I just don't understand policies that allow you to do that sort of stuff when, to me, it feels very preventable. Like there could have been other ways to handle this. Now, I understand if somebody just went on a killing spree and you're trying to stop them, whatever.
Right.
But this could, you know, I just don't see how the thought process isn't this could cause more harm than I'm trying to prevent. And ultimately, it took the life of two recent graduates from Florida A&M University. Very, 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 very sad. There's another story. You know, I told you I watch the news so you don't have to. All of the news, right?
Let me tell you this. While we've been
me?
talking about this, I just, so this is not a deep dive. I just looked it up real quickly to see what the Houston Police chase policy is. This is a summary.
Okay.
It's a summary of it. Updated in September 2023.
Recently.
Uh-huh. And it aims to reduce injuries and deaths during chases by requiring officers to evaluate risks such as road conditions, traffic, and potential for a crash before initiating a pursuit.
So I wasn't wrong. Like, I mean, because it just feels like just common sense to say, is this going to cause more damage that I'm trying to prevent? Because I fully understand trying to stop a drunk driver. But when you see that drunk driver has no intent on stopping, and what they're doing and the way they're escalating the situation can ultimately put more lives at risk, at what point do you have a duty to retreat? Do you have other protocols where you can call ahead? You know what street he's on. You know what that street leads to. So can we like put a block up that way so that he has to stop? I don't know. I just think, hindsight is always 2020. You always could think better on the backside of things. But I just feel like, based on what you read, this should have been one of those situations where you say, this isn't safe enough to do.
And a supervisor is required to before you can initiate.
Well, they also say that here, but we know it happens here, and then we hear after the fact that they got the permission. But when you first hear the story, you didn't hear about permission. I have my own personal story to talk about with that. But I think it just feels very unnecessary that these two young men are no longer with us because of what it sounds like is a breach in their own policy. It just sounds like that to me. But there's another, and again, I want to offer and extend our deepest condolences to the families of those young men out trying to have fun as young kids do when they're in college, Greek Fest, and then they're Greek. They were probably having the time of their lives that weekend, and then it just abruptly ended. And so it's just very, very unfortunate. And our hearts go out to the families of both people. And I mean, even the driver, because at the end of the day, like his family is going to ultimately bear the brunt of what his actions cause, and they don't have anything to do with it, but they're going to be thrust into articles and conversations around this thing because, he's attached to them. It's just a sad situation all the way around. And I wouldn't have wanted to be the first responders to go to that scene. I mean, that is just awful. And then we are so desensitized and so detached. We think everything belongs on camera because somebody recorded it. And there's video of the immediate aftermath is online. I didn't want to look at that. I didn't want to click on it. Didn't have any interest in watching it, but it's there. But there's another case where there was. Did you hear about I guess it was like a bar fight. It was like a little a fight. You heard about that? Yeah. And these they're calling them Russians. I don't know what their ethnicity, race, or anything. They look white. They look like white men to me. But I don't know what their nationalities are. I have no idea. I did not hear them speaking or anything. I saw the video, and these guys were fighting. It looked like a group of white guys fighting what looked like a group of black guys. A black guy and a white guy steps in and breaks it up. The black guy that breaks up the fight is wearing a red shirt. When they break the fight up, the white guy on the other side, big old dude, looked like he could be, I'm talking about, he looked like Paul Bunyan or somebody. He was huge. Everything is de-escalated. Everybody's like, calm down. And he just walks over and slaps the black man that was in the red shirt that was trying to disengage everyone. He just smacks him.
I didn't see that.
And then it looked like a Montgomery brawl because everybody black in that place, hands and feet were laid everywhere. The thing that is bothering the folk is the response from the police department. The police department where this happened is a female police. The head of the police is woman. I don't know if she's a sheriff or a superintendent, but I believe she's a sheriff. She only arrested the black people. So everybody is in an uproar. White folk included are in an uproar because they are trying to understand her rationale for only arresting the black folk. And her explanation made zero sense. I listened to the press conference and I was just like, girl, you should have read that twice before you got on air and started talking about that. But none of what they are considering to be the aggressors, because what appears to be white folk are the people who started the melee. But the melee was stopped. Everybody was kind of like going to their separate corners. And this guy just walks over and like open hand smack, like some Ike and Tina type stuff, like smacked them. And then everybody, it was like Avengers Unite. Like I don't know what it was, but everybody in there, hands and feet. And women were in there too, like fighting to stand up for this guy. But I don't understand, like, what is policy? Like, how do you justify only arresting the black folk? Is it because you feel like the white people got the shorter end of the stick, that you feel like you want to arrest the folk who you deem to be the aggressors and you don't have all the facts? And there's video. I watched it. It's video. they're witnesses. So how did the police department decide who they were going to arrest? I mean, I'm not going to say facetious, but
That's
rhetorical. Rhetorical because I think I know, but I mean, where did they do that at?
If there's video of this calming down, calming down.
That's a part of the jargon that the white folk are saying. Like they're doing videos saying, if there's video, what's your excuse?
And then a guy,
he just walks over. It's open hand.
I mean,
smacks him.
at that point, it almost doesn't matter. I'm not saying what happened shouldn't have happened, but should have happened. But if that guy does that at that point, that's the real initiator of what brought police to the place, not whatever happened from before.
And in this particular state, Will, there's no duty to retreat. They have a stand your ground law in this particular state where this happened. We're going to talk about it. Look, I hope y'all listening because we the hypocrisy of policing, I guess. Is there ever equity? We're going to keep talking about it. WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about.
All day long.
Good morning and happy Monday. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU News, and here's a look at today's headlines. First, the trial of a man accused of dismembering a woman in the 9th Ward gets underway. You may remember her body was found later in an old school bus. Benjamin Beal's trial was supposed to start back in April. He was first arrested in January of 2022 after police say they found Julia Dardar's remains inside a freezer located inside a converted school bus that they say belonged to Beal. His trial begins today at 9 a.m. Then we have some good news for drivers. The Claiborne Avenue Bridge is expected to reopen this morning. It has been closed for weeks, causing congestion as people looked for alternate routes. State transportation officials say the bridge will be open daily between 5 a.m. and 10 p.m. And finally, be prepared to see more traffic on the roads as schools across Southeast Louisiana return to class this week. Today, some students in Orleans Parish will start the new academic year. In addition, we want to let you know that those school zone cameras in New Orleans will not turn on this morning. And even if you do see one of them flashing, they won't be issuing tickets. That's as city officials work to meet new requirements passed during the most recent legislative session. And that's a look at today's headlines. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU News. Have a great day, and for the kiddos, have a great first day of school.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat. Ariel Investments founder and co-CEO John Rogers says he's starting to notice more action in deal making.
When you look and see the reports from some of the large investment bankers like Goldman Sachs, they're saying they're really feeling that CEOs are starting to feel really comfortable looking for new transactions, looking for ways to add value for shareholders. It's a completely new environment. And it was the exact opposite. 2 years ago, you would talk to a CEO and they would just tell you, we can't do anything. None of these deals will ever get approved by the FTC or get through the government. It's just a complete sea change.
That's Rogers speaking to Bloomberg at an event in Chicago. The optimism for mergers and acquisitions is a big turnaround from the Biden administration. Ariel Investments has over $13 billion in assets under management and prides itself on being one of the largest and most prominent black-run firms on Wall Street. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
Pro Savings Days are back at Lowe's. Right now, get a 4-piece GE kitchen suite for under $2,000. Plus, get a free DeWalt 20-volt Max XR 8 amp-hour battery when you buy a select DeWalt tool. Save big with deals that work as hard as you do. Shop Pro Savings Days in-store or online today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 8/1. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
Seems like back to school happens earlier each year.
First day of school coming in hot.
And this year, my kids had massive supply lists.
Folders, notebooks, and pens. Oh, the humanity.
But Staples had everything I needed, with some items just 25 cents.
Watch the small print.
No. My back to school budget was saved by Staples Easy Button.
Everything for school, in stock and as low as 25 cents. Staples.
That was easy.
In store, online, and on the app. NC 23 while supplies last.
Hello, friend. Tavis Smiley here with a special announcement. You can catch my show at a new time. Weekdays from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Same great topics, same great guests, same great conversations, just a little earlier in the day. It's Tavis Smiley, weekdays 1 to 4 p.m. only on WBOK 1230 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about.
Tired of the impersonal, one-size-fit-all style of banking? You deserve a bank that delivers exceptional service and personalized attention to your needs. That's the Home Bank Standard. Since 1908, Home Bank has been a trusted financial partner for businesses and families because we go the extra mile to help you reach your goals. See for yourself why Home Bank is good for business, good for life. Stop by any New Orleans area location or find out more at home24bank.com. Home Bank, member FDIC.
Saints of God, it's time for us to tell you the truth. It's time for you to start your 21-day challenge. Don't take another day. Do it right now. Call 504-701-4711. That's the whole water stove, Pastor David Impartian Sr., the host of Change Your Water, Change Your Mind. This is the water that's designed to change your body, the way you think, the way you act, and the way you look. Why don't you start your 21-day challenge today? For $35, you can start it right now. Call me so we can set up your appointment. 504-701-4711. That's 504-701-4711. Change your water, change your mind.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM.
Good morning, Wake Up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK.
Shout out to my super producer. Happy Monday, Larry Sanders, and my co-host Will Sutton.
Good
right
morning.
now, you know, we were talking about, I don't know if we call it the hypocrisy of policing. I don't know what we call it, but we were talking about that. And we'll continue to talk about that because I think that's a conversation that can be had any day of the week. But right now, we are in studio with Deirdre Meredith and Cyril Bisoni talking about the 65th anniversary of the New Orleans Four and their legacy weekend. What is America's Little Soldier Girls, huh?
Yeah.
Is that what we call them?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. New Orleans Four.
I respect the fact that we're talking about all four of them.
Absolutely.
So, you know, sometimes conversations happen and we leave out parts of the conversation. There were four of them. So let's talk about it. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you. How you doing?
You're welcome. So this is
Good to have you.
And is it in partnership with the National Urban League and
Well,
the Treme Four?
Mark Morial is his father.
Okay.
Mr. Ernest Dutch Morial was the apprentice to A.P. Turo and Thurgood Marshall.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk history.
Yes,
huh?
yes. And
History
so
lesson.
he proudly supports this project from the inception. And when I started talking to him, when I moved home in 2017, you know, to say, you know, the power of the New Orleans resistance movement has never been talked about in its entirety. So I go all the way back to 1811, the largest enslaved people's revolt of 1811. They call it the German Coast Uprising, according to the other narrative, but I have renamed it as it was, the Orleans Parish
I don't think
Enslaved
it's
People's
anything
Revolt.
German about it.
And nothing German about it.
Yeah.
I mean, so when you say German Coast Uprising, you think it took place in Germany. So
Yeah.
I want my people to really know the full power of the New Orleans resistance movement.
It's so strange that you say that because my son was talking about a tattoo, and he was talking about an African warrior because he likes the quote that was from Black Panther when he basically was saying, you know, bury me in the ocean with my ancestors, because he rather die than be enslaved.
Yeah.
And that little quote that was on the movie. And I said, well, have you ever heard of Charles Desalong? And he is like, no. I said, well, look it up.
Yeah, you're right.
Because you don't need you're looking for someone, an African warrior. There were people from the same soil that you walk on, you know, from the same city. and you need to know who he is. So it's just so funny that we mentioned that, but for the benefit of our listening audience who may not, because we have listeners all over the place of all ages, they may not even know about the legacy of the 4 young girls who integrated the schools at that time. Can you just give us a brief background on their importance and why we have to continue to celebrate that?
Right. Well, first I want to say is I'm Deidre Meredith. I'm the creator of the New Orleans Legacy Project. It is a movement and a film. And it's a docuseries, three-part docuseries about the New Orleans 4 and the freedom fighters of the New Orleans and Louisiana resistance movement. I center it around the 4 girls because they are the ones who actually reignited the civil rights movement. A lot of people don't tie that to what happened here in New Orleans. It wasn't just about Leona Tate, Gail Etienne, Ruby Bridges, and Tessie Prevost just desegregating schools in New Orleans. What happened was September 1960. Everybody in New Orleans were arrested, sit-ins and all that. Big Duck, Mama Doty, all of them. They were arrested in September. That October, Dr. King and 52 others were arrested. So they thought they had stalled the civil rights movement. And that's why I say send in the little soldier girls. On November 14, 1960, here in New Orleans, they garnered worldwide attention. And that worldwide attention called this country to the liberties enshrined in the United States Constitution because of their bravery and because of what they looked like on television. It made the world go, wait a minute, you want us to be allies in the Cold War against Russia? And this is how you treat children who just want to go to school?
Yeah.
That is what the New Orleans 4 did.
Yeah, I mean, and even the soldiers who fought those wars. It's so crazy how you treat people who fight for your freedom and they come back and have no freedoms of their own.
That part.
You know what I mean? And so I wonder if, I'm hoping that this docuseries is something that we can marry to our curriculum in the schools.
Oh, that is absolutely the case.
Because a lot of what our children learn is a fallacy. It's not true at all. I've gotten in trouble enough times at schools talking about social studies because I can remember, and it wasn't that long ago, it's maybe about 8 years because I've been out of work that long, right? It's been about 8 years, and I can remember working at an organization here in the city, and they were teaching the children that the enslaved were indentured servants, and they clocked in at one time and clocked out at another time.
Wow.
And it was in that meeting that I raised my hand, and I was like, unapologetically said, I'm not teaching that.
No, you're not.
I'm not doing that. And I was the assistant principal at the time, but I was over the social studies curriculum. And so the lady, she went and told my principal on me. And my principal was a black girl from the Fisher Project, too.
I'm from the Fisher.
And she said, she came back and she said, well, I'm still trying to figure out what you said and did wrong. I was like, I don't know. But you surely can't whip me, so I don't know why they went and told you as if I can't tell you what I did. I literally said, I'm not teaching that.
You told the truth.
I'm not doing it.
Yeah, you're right.
And I meant to, and I be wanting these people to refute what I'm saying, but nobody ever does. Because it happened in a room full of people. It's like documented. And if we call my principal, she would attest to this. That's what they were teaching. And I could only imagine what they're teaching now because some of us don't raise our hand and say, I'm not teaching that.
Mm-hmm.
We do what we're asked because we don't want to be unemployed, and it does a disservice to kids. So I'm hoping that what you're doing marries somehow to the curriculum so that our babies learn.
That's why it's a movement and a film, you know. So, I mean, when Leona wanted to start the TEP Center, she was at the Lower Ninth Ward Living Museum. My mom was like, go ahead and help your T. Leona. I'm like, oh, Lord.
Yeah.
When she took me, I said, you won't buy the building. I got some money. I ain't got that kind of money. But then I started thinking about
Faith
how
of
can
a
I help them?
mustard
Well,
so somehow it happens.
yeah, well, man, look, look here, I'm faithful.
And a lot of hope.
A lot of hope.
A lot of
So
hope.
between working with Barbara Cyril and Leona Tate, I just, Cindy Wynn got in office and I said, she's like, you know, what do you want to do? You want to work with me? I said, I need you to come talk to Leona. And she did. And people who didn't take Leona seriously, Cindy Wynn did. She just took her and said, let's go to the school board. That building was boarded up before Katrina.
Yeah.
And so finally she was able to get them to give her a price on the building. And so now we got that price. Cindy was like, good, now I can allocate for you to get some funding.
It's a beautiful building, by the way.
So yes, absolutely.
I've only been there a handful of times with the forums for, they've been hosting forums that prior to that, I had not been in there, but I had just interviewed her. So I always had
I think I
plans
came here with her
I
one
think you
time.
did. I think you did. And
in the early stage.
what's beautiful for me to see is because we don't often allow folk to smell their flowers while
Right.
they're still here.
Yes, ma'am.
What's beautiful for me to see is faces of people that I actually know that are walking around in the city,
Yeah.
like right now.
Yeah, you're
like
right.
we don't have to go 60 years back or
No.
70
Yeah.
years back. We see revolutionaries on the wall
Walking,
who we can
talk
touch.
to, and you can talk to.
Yeah, that's why I say I
Listen
love
right here.
on.
Listen right
I
here.
love on Big Duck. Every like if
Yeah,
I see
you're right.
him, I'm posting him.
Yeah.
I mean, cause he could chair dance better than most people.
Yes,
I
he
know.
do, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He needs-
With
So-
his cane.
Yeah, with the cane.
With his
Right,
cane.
right,
And so
right,
for
right.
me, walking in that place and seeing people who you can actually have conversations with about
Yeah.
historical things.
Yeah.
Like talking to Big Duck is like a history lesson. And there's no reason why we don't uplift him in the way I just think he's a giant.
Oh, yes,
And
indeed.
and I don't think we do enough.
Oh, wait till you watch this
I
docuseries.
want to watch it.
So
I
did
know
you
I'm
watch the trailer
intrigued.
yet?
I have not seen the
Good.
trailer.
Go to NewOrleansLegacyProject.org.
And
you
all
can watch
these,
the teaser.
Yeah.
all these years, we've stood on their backs.
Yeah.
And then now it's time for us to lift them up
Yes.
rather than us continually standing on their
Yes.
backs. It's time
Yeah.
for,
Yeah.
and I haven't grown into become called Baba yet.
Yeah.
No, I call him
But
Baba.
there's a-
I call him Baba.
Baba steroid came out very easily.
I
I
know
call
that.
him Baba anyway. He don't
Yes.
accept it yet, but
Yes.
that's a thing.
But
he
I,
does. Yes.
but I do recognize I'm one of the elders now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So talk to us about the magnitude of this 65th anniversary and what is happening surrounding it. How much are we doing to celebrate it? Are there activities that you want to talk to our listening audience about so that they can make plans to be there? Because I absolutely want to see the docuseries.
Well-
I'm gonna go and watch the trailer because I have goosebumps. I love talking about, especially how important our city was in the fight that folk don't ever really acknowledge us for. So I think that's exciting. So what is happening around this 65th?
Well, Treme for Treme, we've partnered with the New Orleans Legacy Project with Deidre, and it's a no-brainer that we have to celebrate at this point in time. And if you remember last year, we did a celebration for Juneteenth.
Yes.
We had a huge concert. It was very, very successful. It's called Music of a Movement, and we're not apologetic that it was about the civil rights movement, and we also celebrated the 60th anniversary of the 64 Civil Rights Act then, last year, 2024. And we did the 50th anniversary of Joan Armstrong's judgeship, as well as the 70th anniversary of Brown v. Board of Education. Now, this year, it's the 65th anniversary of the New Orleans Four.
Yeah.
The little soldier girls. So
And the Voting Rights Act.
and the Voting Rights Act. So that's what we'll be celebrating, and the weekend of the 14th through the 16th of November. And again, we're going to have the music of a movement. And we know how important music is, and not saying that this is going to be part of the concert, but music, when James Brown back in 1968 said, "Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud." And then in 1970, you had Ball of Confusion, which is still appropriate today.
So it's say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. Is it that? So
It-
is
it's-
that because
yeah.
I'm fascinated because I'm looking at the flyer that you gave me and I'm thinking about the years. Will, you were a baby around that same time too,
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely. Not too
How
far
much of
away
this do you
from,
remember?
Absolutely, because this was not that far from where we were living in the Lower Ninth Ward, and my school was Sims, T.J. Sims.
And that's the second one
In the
that they
second,
desegregated.
That's right. Yep. So that was like the next wave.
Yeah.
And at that time, there were more white people in the Lower Ninth Ward than
Yes.
there are now. But we were there and in force. But they didn't want us in their school.
No, they did
Yeah.
not.
They
Well,
did not want us in
that makes
their
me-
This
school.
time they didn't leave because they left McDonough 19.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. And I have to say that I've had the opportunity to see earlier versions of the docu-series, and it's very powerful, very enlightening, and I'm glad that Deidre is continuing to work on this, and when she's ready for you to see the next steps.
Yeah, it was
It'll be good because I recognize that what I saw was a work in progress.
Yes.
And I mean, that I think would have been good enough to just let people see.
Yeah. I do the private screening.
Yeah, right,
so
right,
this
right.
that you will get to take that weekend. You'll get to see the private screening.
Well, I was going to ask. Don't
Yes.
you worry.
Yes.
I was going to ask because I do want to see it. Because as Will was talking about, they didn't want us in our school. I'm a West Banker. I'm from Algiers.
Me too.
Well, I knew that when I said I'm from the Fisher, you said I am too. That's like, but I think about Oliver Perry Walker, right? And I think about the importance of Lord Beaconsfield Landry. And folk don't, when they were talking about merging those schools, folk didn't understand the vitriol that black folk had in Algiers about putting those two names on the same building. Because at one point, if you were black, you could not attend Old Perry Walker. He was a segregationist. And that was the whole reason why Lord Beaconsfield Landry even created a school so that black folk could have somewhere to be educated, right? And so if you don't understand your history, that's why you were advocating for those two names to go together. And people looking at you like, or have you lost your mind?
Absolutely.
And that's why I think it's important for stuff like this to be placed into our schools so that our kids don't get to my age and they're wondering why you're trying to fight to put a segregationist name on a building of what we consider a revolutionary. They don't go together.
No,
it's
they
like
do not.
oil and water.
So
It just
crazy.
does not mix.
No.
But the reason why you had people advocating for that is because they did not understand
They
the
didn't
origin.
know the history.
They don't know the history. And that's why what you're doing is so important.
Yes,
That's why
sir.
we need buildings like the TEP Center. That's why we need the Amistad Research Center. We have to fight
Yes.
to protect these institutions, because if we do not, those folk going to tell our history. And they're going to tell us that slaves were indentured servants, right? The enslaved were indentured servants. They're going to tell us they were clocking in and clocking out. This is why we have to protect these institutions. And I don't give out apologies where they're not due. I don't make any apologies for saying I'm not teaching that. I'm not doing it.
No, you're not.
So go with whatever move you want to go with, but I'm not teaching that, right? And until you can show me where your opinion match my expertise, I'm not teaching that.
That's right. Well, fact is fact.
Facts are facts.
That part.
It did not happen that way.
No.
But if we allow this country to continue to whitewash what really took place,
Yes.
and to destroy artifacts that prove what actually took place, then people like you and what you're doing is all the more important.
Illegitimately revised
Because
history.
somebody needs to
Right.
be documenting Big Duck's entire legacy from his mouth, like memorializing it.
And that is
because-
what this is. It's an oral history.
Absolutely, because
It's
when
an
he
oral
becomes an
history.
ancestor, we owe it to ourselves
You
to have that
always have it.
here with us. Yeah,
Yes, that's
why
what
it's
I-
important.
That's why I'm doing
That's
it.
why it's well. I thank you for doing it.
Oh my God.
I really do.
Thank you.
I'm not joking. I want to see it. You have me with chill because I don't know if you. This is at my core. I believe who I am. I might look young, but I really believe I've lived someplace,
Yeah.
somewhere else,
Yeah.
reincarnated, because my spirit doesn't feel as young as my age is, but I want to be able to be a part of the conversation where you stand on the right side of history.
Yes.
When you fought for all of the right things, even to your detriment. That's how I see my life.
To my detriment.
To your detriment, absolutely.
Yes.
And let us add
Folks
this.
don't want you to tell the truth now.
Right. And let us add this. On tomorrow, we're doing a press conference.
Will you cover that press conference?
To announce,
Be in Cleveland.
to announce this weekend.
Okay.
In
the whole
November,
run.
the 14th through the 16th.
Yeah.
And it's going to be at the Basin Street Station for 12 noon. And we would like to see as many people there as possible to support us, as well as other media and other media groups. But there's one other song I wanted to mention, and that was by Ray Charles again, 1972. Heaven Help Us All. Yeah,
That one, yes.
and that's music of a movement. That's part
Yeah.
of the civil rights movement. And then one of the other things Ray Charles actually said in one of these songs is, "What if God is black?"
I don't. In my household, we don't. What if? Like
We already know.
we got.
I'm just quoting. I'm just quoting him.
You already know. So
And it's so crazy because do you watch the Angel Network? It's like this new network that they have coming out. A lot of the history of like even how athletes integrated into sports. How they didn't want black folk in the professional leagues, right? There's a documentary on Sweetwater. Michael Jordan talks about the importance of Sweetwater to the NBA. There's one about the NFL, and in the documentary, in the movie, they say, you know that we can allow them in the draft, but we don't actually draft Negroes. Like, you cannot do that. And the guy turns and he says, have you ever seen them play? Because at that point, he didn't care about what the protocol was. He saw them as moneymakers. Like, we can draw folk into watching this take place because of their athleticism. And it's so crazy because, to me, nothing has changed about how they see it. They are commodities. They are there to entertain and make the money. But when you breach, whatever they don't want you to breach, then they put you back in your nice little box that you're supposed to stay in.
Get in your box, Mandingo.
Absolutely. And so I see so many parallels from what you're talking about, even with this, to what is happening in other facets of this country, whether it's sports, whether it's politics. I look at Jasmine Crockett. You can say the things, but don't be too loud about it, black girl. Put your attitude in your pocket. Stay in your place. I see it in all different forms.
I've been told to be in my place with this project.
And it make you feel like, what did we really gain in, since, all of the historical fights we've had for equity, for justice, for freedom, for liberation, because it continues and it just looks different. Same struggle, just looks different. What do you think about that?
Well, it's absolutely, that's why I'm doing this project. Because I really feel like, there's a power in knowing where you come from.
Yeah.
And when you really know your history, then you know where you're coming from. Bob Marley said that, right?
Yeah.
If you don't know your history, you don't know where you're coming from. So if you don't know where you're coming from, where you going? And so that is one of the main reasons. I really want people in New Orleans and Louisiana to know the power of who we are.
So
and
where
why.
can they watch the trailer?
NewOrleansLegacyProject.org. And you can go to Treme for Treme. You can find out more about the music of a movement. And like tomorrow at the press conference, it's going to be a landmark because Miss Gail Etienne, one of the New Orleans Four, Miss Leona Tate, and the last living parent, Miss Dorothy Prevost, who is still standing, still at 94.
Yeah.
She's still on her, you better come here.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you right now, we don't know any nanosecond. They can be going on and take to glory, you understand?
What
So,
time and place?
12 noon tomorrow to 2 p.m. We'll be at the Basin Street Station. And we'll start the press conference at 12, yes.
Well, thank you for your service. I really appreciate the work that you're doing. You too, Baba Sarah. I don't care if you don't want to accept it or not. You got to take them flowers. We've been in conversation with Deirdre Meredith and Cyril Sony talking about the 65th anniversary of the New Orleans Four and their legacy weekend. Please come out if you can to the press conference. It's happening tomorrow. 12 noon to 2 p.m. at the Basin Street
Station.
Basin Street Station press conference. Be there if you can. We appreciate you. Thank you for
thank
joining
you.
us.
Thank you.
Listen, we'll be right back. We're going to keep talking. I hope you keep listening. This is WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about.
All day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Another hot day is expected. A few coastal showers moving inland as we head throughout the afternoon. Highs reach the low 90s for as heat index stays just below heat advisory criteria. Any of these isolated showers and thunderstorms could produce some heavy rainfall at times, but most of this will be on the isolated side. More of that continues as we head throughout the rest of the week. From the WDSU First Warning Weather Center, I'm Raven Richard.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation is the nonprofit organization that owns the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival presented by Shell. With the funds generated from Jazz Fest, the foundation invests in Louisiana communities through economic development, cultural enrichment, and free educational programs. To learn more about the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation, please visit us at www.jazzandheritage.org.
Visit DePaul's new Algiers Health Center at 2801 General de Gaulle Drive to receive primary and preventive care for both adults and children. Services also include behavioral health, imaging, and on-site pharmacy, vision, Medicaid enrollment assistance, and more. For appointments, visit DePaulCommunityHealthCenters.org or call 504-207-3060.
Good morning, Wake Up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK.
To the Good Morning Show. I am your host, Dr. Ashanta Wyatt. Shout out to my super producer, Naren Sanders, and my co-host, Will Sutton. If
Good
you're
morning.
just joining us, you missed a really good conversation with Deirdre Meredith and Cyril B. Sony talking about the 65th anniversary of the New Orleans Four and their legacy weekend. There's a press conference happening tomorrow.
12 noon.
12 noon
Basin
to 2
Street.
p.m. at Basin Street. And if you are interested, there's also a website. I can't remember the website, but
It's
there's a
New
website.
Orleans Legacy Project.org.
I knew the journalist had it written down somewhere. What is it again, Will?
New Orleans Legacy Project.org.
Go there for all of the updated information. But right now, we were talking about that project is focused on the history and, you know, how we got here with the New Orleans Four. But the young man that is in the studio today is you know, I believe a revolutionary as well, doing some revolutionary work out in Baton Rouge as it relates to the criminal justice space. Please welcome to the Good Morning Show, Mr. Ryan Thompson. We normally talk to you on the phone, but he's actually in the studio. Y'all get to see him. And my niece Maya. Hey, Maya.
Coucou, je m'appelle Maya.
Little French for you, baby. Maya said, let me show you what that public school education got.
Do you hear me? That's that African education.
Come on
you know
now.
Okay, all right.
Pan-Africanism.
I'm with it.
Let's
and
hear it
so
again.
Coucou.
All right. Tell them your name.
Je m'appelle Maya, j'ai 15 ans.
Where we from?
Afrique.
Afrique. And what's our home and community language?
Nigerian Ebonics.
Already.
Talk nice to me. So listen, I'm always glad to talk to you, and I know there's a lot that's going on in the Baton Rouge space. The previous segment we had, they were talking about all things revolutionary, and I think that you fit into that space. Can you just tell our listening audience what it is that you do, and what is the purpose behind the work that you do? Why law, and why that particular type of law that you practice?
So first, obviously, thank you for having me on here today. I first asked permission from the elders to speak before I speak. That's the old African tradition. So may I speak, elder?
Absolutely.
So again, I'm Ryan Keith Thompson. I'm an attorney licensed here in Baton Rouge. I'm also licensed in federal courts, Eastern, Western, and the Eastern District here in Louisiana. Some of your viewers may know me from the work that I've done with you, with Reginald Hamilton down in Plaquemines Parish, Leander Perez's Plaquemines Parish. More recently, we're doing the litigation as it involves with the Brave Cave in Baton Rouge. But before I even got here, there were some elders that tapped me back in Watts, California. That would be Dr. Lillian Mobley, Dr. Ernie Smith, who is the foremost leading authority on Nigerian Ebonics. You also have Miss Carter, who is Bunchy Carter's mother, and then you have Miss Henry. And so the question became for them is that, Ryan, I understand you want to get involved in the struggle, but if the people are sick, then we don't have a nation. So I then enrolled at Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science to receive my master's in public health. If you understand public health, you understand that public health is social justice. Social justice is public health. So the question became for me is, how do I continue in that lane? And they said, Ryan, we've done all the research. We've had all the scholarship. The publications have been done. They're there. We need somebody to carry us back into court. And so that's how I ended up here. I was not going to go to a PWI for grad school because I had already done the PWI thing at Southern Utah University. Not Southern, but Southern Utah University. I was on a full athletic scholarship. And so the question became for me is, where am I going to go to law school? Howard, Texas Southern, Southern University Law Center. But my wife, we were working. We had the children, as you can see. And Southern has a magnificent program that allows working adults to go to school in the evening.
That's a bell. I mean,
Absolutely.
we know it's spectacular. Our governor went, so it's not like we know it's like
a lot of folks went there trying to hijack. You know what I mean? The district attorney of Baton Rouge went to Southern University Law Center.
I don't know why. I don't know why they don't talk about it, because I think that it speaks volumes to the level of schooling you receive at the Southern University Law Center. So I shout out to Southern.
Shout out to Angela Bell.
Yeah, shout out. Sister Angela Bell. And if you don't know her, please Google her. I think it's important that we know our pioneers. I think it's important that we know folk who are holding us down when we don't even know we're being held down.
If I can say something to that, and she does not get the credit, and a lot of times, as you know, Dr. Wyatt, people will steal our scholarship.
Yes.
You have individuals that love to talk about Ruth Bader Ginsburg, but don't talk about the elder that came from Howard that did the work. I'm not going to say her name. I want people to go look her up. But RBG stole her research. The whole thing behind gender equality came from this black woman. You should go look her up. She was non-gender conforming. She was also a theologian and a trained lawyer. But to that point, Angela Bell, the reason that we have a unanimous jury decision here in this state is because of the work of Angela Bell, because of the scholarship of Angela Bell. But when you look at the Supreme Court decisions, they don't even make her a footnote. Not even in a footnote.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to say that on that.
But the thing about her is, because I've met her personally, we've had conversations, and when you come from a certain cloth where, to me, the outcome is better than the accolades, in my opinion.
Yes.
A lot of us work like that. A lot of us work
You work
in
like
silence.
that.
Absolutely.
I know for a fact.
I just want the outcome. I want our children to be free. I want our kids to have access. It doesn't matter to me whose name is documented. I can be in rooms and be all the way in the back. Folk ask me to come to the front, then I'll do that. But I just want the outcome. I don't need the accolades. And I see that, with how the universe brought us together, because, I had them checking you out before I even knew who you was. I was like, nope. I don't know him. Record the conversation so I can hear it. That's literally how we met.
And it is legal to record in Louisiana. Long as one party consents.
But I want to just say this to the listening audience. The work that we did with Reginald Hamilton out in Plaquemines, the folk in Plaquemines want to keep the outcome a secret.
Man.
But the outcome is that child never went to prison. They were looking for prison for him, not jail. They wanted prison time because the sheriff in Plaquemines told the lie that this child intentionally tried to kill his deputy. And those are the words he used.
That's correct.
And I said, something in the water ain't clean. Because if you're saying this to us, then show it to us.
That is correct.
And when we got the video, it showed us something completely different.
Yes.
And I thank you for standing up for him, because I couldn't find anybody here to do it.
As you know, the work that I do is not done alone.
Yes.
We have to talk about Attorney Jessica Hawkins.
Oh, absolutely.
Who lives here in Orleans Parish.
Jayhawk.
Who is young, who is vibrant.
Don't skip beautiful.
That goes without saying, right? But yes, we did some great work down in Plaquemines. They charged Reginald and his co-defendant, Cody, with attempted murder.
Yes.
Reginald, particularly, attempted murder of a police officer. He lost his leg. So yes, we got a favorable outcome.
Yes.
I kept it.
I didn't talk because you had to.
Well, I didn't think it was in the best interest of Reginald to talk about the plea deal that he accepted. But yes, he's doing well. He has a son.
Yes.
He's raising that black son. And yes, that was my introduction to you.
Yes, it was.
Without me knowing it.
I'm glad we met. Look, I got to go to break. I just want to thank you for popping in, you and my niece, for giving us that. But what I will say, too, about that child is that boy could put his hand in water and come out with a fish.
That's correct.
He can hunt.
That's
He can-
correct.
I mean, he's a phenomenal individual, and all of that would have been for naught if you wouldn't have stepped into the picture.
If
So,
let me say this: he needs a job.
we
And
all
so
want
I'm
it.
reaching out to the community.
Yeah.
He's a mechanic.
He can do it all.
The ATV that he did, he put that thing together from scratch.
By hand.
And so if anyone out there is looking for a young man who's a father who needs something who needs to employ someone, Reginald Hamilton needs a job.
We appreciate you. Thank you for stopping
Thank
by,
you.
Ryan Thompson and my niece Maya. We appreciate you. We got to go to break. When we come back, we'll hear from Caitlin Gunn, estate planning administration specialist from Stone Pigment. It is August, and it is National Make a Will Month. Is
Make
that
a
you,
will.
Is that you, Will?
That's Will.
Y'all stay with us
Yeah.
right here, WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about.
All day long.
WBOK New Orleans. Home of the Good Morning Show, 7 to 9 a.m. weekdays.
This news report is brought to you by New Schools for New Orleans.
I'm Misty Jordan with BIN News Now. The fines for parents of children who are caught violating the city of Detroit's curfew are going up. Black City Councilman Coleman Young II says it's needed.
We cannot be a thriving city and we have 4-year-old blood shed in the street.
The Detroit City Council voted 7-1 yesterday to approve the increase from $75 to $250 for the first offense. A second offense will go from $100 to $500. Attorneys for Sean Diddy Combs want a federal judge to release him from jail. They're requesting he be let out on a $50 million bail and allowed to reside in his Miami home ahead of his October 3rd sentencing. And Baltimore City Public School students and children 12 and under can now use their student pass to ride the bus, light rail, and subway services for free. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
This year marks 20 years since Hurricane Katrina changed our city and our schools forever. New Schools for New Orleans is sharing After the Storm, a special series reflecting on the past 2 decades of change and progress in public education. Through videos, personal stories, and a powerful interactive timeline and data dashboard, we explore how our schools recovered, transformed, grew, and what that progress means for our students today. Discover the videos, data, resources, and stories behind the 20 years of change at newschoolsforneworleans.org/Katrina20.
Good morning, wake up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK.
Welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I am your host, Dr. Ashanta Wyatt. Shout out to my super producer, Nyron Sanders, and my co-host, Will Sutton. If you are
Good morning.
just joining us, we've been having quite the Monday.
It's quite
been
the
fun
Monday.
around here, and the fun continues as we have Caitlin Gunn in studio with us this morning, talking about estate planning. And August is Make a Will month, not Make a Will Sutton month.
Not Make a Will
but
Sutton
Make
month.
a
But you're welcome
Make a
to
will.
consider putting me in your will. But
So we have the honor of having Caitlin Gunn and her baby girl in studio. Y'all can't see the baby, but I can see the baby. Welcome to the show, Caitlin. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing well.
No, we're glad to have you. I think estate planning is something that is super important, but we don't talk enough about it. And I think, especially in our community, we wait until it's needed to get it, when we should just have it so we don't have to prepare for it. So more often than not, we're kind of behind the 8 ball in that. And I'm talking about myself included. Like, you have to tell where you want your stuff,
Right.
Get your business in order.
And that's not limited to you. That is
Yeah.
a lot of clients. I constantly get phone calls. You're like, oh, I should have done this forever ago.
Yeah, I know it's me though. I could talk about myself because Will, do you have a will?
Funny you should ask.
No pressure.
No pressure.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So let me. I'm going to give you a quick story because I'd like to hear from you.
Sure.
But my wife and I have been together 45 years.
Wonderful.
We have had wills off and on in our 4 decades plus. And off often means we did it and said yay for us. And then it's like, where is it? It's like
Very important question.
So it's like, oh, so we're one of the people who actually get it done, but who's going to know where it is?
Exactly.
And it's like, Anyway, so the last time we updated was 2012.
That's good. I'll allow it.
And so this summer, with Will Month coming,
Yes.
we said, got to get on it because I turned the big 7-0 in June. It's like, I'm looking for my next 20.
There you go.
But we don't know. So,
But that's a good
things
point.
have changed in our lives. We got grandkids. We
Right.
didn't have that before.
But you have a milestone that kind of the
Absolutely.
70th birthday. And
Yep.
to your point, Dr. Wyatt, a lot of people will come to me and be like, oh, I saw this tragedy on TV and it really made me want to get my affairs in order. Or, someone in my family has passed away, so made me realize what I need to do. So you are not alone by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, Caitlin, I just want you to help me get it out my phone because, see, I wrote it, but
Yeah,
I need
girl.
to get it right.
Yeah, we need to put pen to paper on that one.
And that means somebody has to have your code to get into your phone.
Listen, the people who know Will, and I told them you go in there and get what you need and burn it because we don't want no trace. This is a very valuable tool right here.
It is.
But no, I need to get it out of the phone.
You do, yeah.
And to,
Yes, but particularly,
memorialize.
I think that the real issue there is that if you were to pass away, that would not be worth anything.
Caitlin, don't hurt my feelings. I mean, I thought I was
No,
you have
this is a
done
step.
the prep work.
It's a step.
Exactly.
It's a
Everybody's got
step.
to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So it's important, in Louisiana, we have pretty strict requirements for the form that a will can be in. iPhones don't count, unfortunately. Emails.
What about Androids?
No. We don't even talk about that. I don't want to see any green in my group chat.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
So, there are really specific form requirements. And so for that reason, it is really important to make sure you get it right because once you do the work, which you have done.
Yeah.
So
I
you
guess
would
I
hate
thought
to
about
see it go to waste.
I know. And it's been in my phone for 2 years, Caitlin. Don't talk about me. Just go with it.
Listen, I'm proud of you for thinking about it.
I did it. I had to because of a certain thing happened. And I'm like, okay, I need to put some stuff down, but I need to get it correct.
Absolutely.
That's why you're here.
Right.
So who needs a will, Caitlin?
Well, I will never tell anyone that they don't need a will. I think that for some people, it's more imperative than others. But for everyone, it's going to make, I would say life easier, but frankly, it will make death easier for those who you leave behind, right? So even if it's as simple as just making the process in the courts go more smoothly and less costly for your family, I think that is value in and of itself. Certainly dictating where you want your stuff to go, right?
Yeah.
And you may say, well, my kids know where I want to go. It'll be fine. Well, that's all well and good. And for most people, that might be true. But for some people, the rubber's going to meet the road and stuff could go really south. And what you don't want to leave behind is a lot of turmoil for your family.
Especially if you have multiple children who have different viewpoints on what should happen with your stuff.
Right.
Because in my case, I have one, but in your case, you have multiple. So what do you do when one child wants something and the other child wants something different and there's no will to dictate that? Then the courts are involved and all of this nasty stuff has to go on.
Well, and not only that, but when you have a will, you appoint a person who's called an executor. And so that person who is given the full authority to manage your estate. And so if there is kind of discretion where it's like, I leave all of my stuff to my kids, my executor can just work that out himself. Versus, I leave this pot of assets to one, this pot of assets to the other. So there's a lot of control that you can take in your will. And maybe I'm just a control freak, but I'm like, if you can exercise that authority and control, why would you choose not to? for two reasons, really. One is your peace of mind, and two is to, make things easier for, again, those who are dealing with it, the aftermath, so that there isn't as much room for turmoil or fighting.
So why do you think so many people don't have a will? Why do you think that is?
Well, I think it's for many reasons. I think one, they say, well, maybe I don't need it. They think that they don't have enough to need a will. But I don't think for anyone that that's true, because there are things you can do in a will even beyond saying where your assets go. Because I would say in most family situations, it's, mom, dad, kids. I leave everything to my spouse. If my spouse dies before I do, I leave everything to my kids in equal shares. That is a very common wish that is expressed. And so you say, well, that's what would happen either way, right? Sort of. But even beyond that, you get to say who's in control, right? So maybe one of your kids would be really good as the executor. They're like a type A first daughter, like yours truly. Yeah, girl, you get it.
Yes,
It's like we don't mind taking the reins and making people a little uncomfortable. But so you can name those people who are in charge of making those decisions. So you don't have a fight about who's in charge, as well as a fight about where the stuff goes.
So do you also, inside of your will, dictate how you want your death process to be, in terms of like being cremated or being in the mausoleum? Is that also included in the will, or no?
Generally, no. We do have a separate document at our firm that we will offer to clients. It's like a document that authorizes cremation if that's what you want. But typically, part and parcel of estate planning, you might be thinking about like, okay, I'm going to head over to the funeral home and go ahead and prepay my funeral arrangements. But those would be kind of handled separately.
Okay.
But certainly, great idea to write down your wishes. Some clients will do what's called a letter of wishes and be like, this is the music I want. If it were my mother, it would say, if you have a carnation, I will come back and kill you, because she hates carnations, for example, right? So you can kind of have, in my opinion, the more information you can leave, the better, right? So help people understand what you really want, so that people aren't guessing and one person thinks one thing and one person thinks another. And
so why is a cocktail napkin, or in my case, an iPhone, why is that not enough?
Well, the strange thing is that although your beautifully well-written invalid will in your iPhone,
I feel so attacked right now.
it's great. It's a really good starting point. I just want you to write it down and sign it.
See, I like that. I like the hamburger method. See how you gave me a little compliment after?
Yeah, right.
All about that positive reinforcement.
Yes.
I got young kids.
Yeah, because so a lot of folk think it's enough though. Like, why is that not enough though? Because what?
Right. So again, kind of going back to the form requirements. So there are multiple ways to make a will in Louisiana, but once you have decided on the way you're going to do it, you need to make sure you do it right. So you can handwrite your will. It's free, right? You can get a piece of paper or a cocktail napkin, as it were, and write it down, sign it, and date it, and you have a valid will. Now, to Will Sutton's point, you better keep up with it. But, generally, and particularly if you see a lawyer, you're going to end up with a typed out document. You're signing every page. There are a lot of very specific requirements in Louisiana law. And so for that reason, I say it's very important to really consult with an attorney to make sure that you're going to all this effort. You went to all this effort to put this in your iPhone, and, you're at the finish line. You don't want to see that go to waste.
Oh, so that means I have to come see you,
basically. Basically.
Before you have your baby, because I want you to remember.
And you can still have it in your iPhone once it's processed through the system, and you know where it is. Is that correct? I mean, the will that goes through the system that makes it valid, you can have a copy of that in your phone.
Absolutely. So when our clients come in, we have them execute one will, right? So we're not doing 5 copies of a will like we might do some other, like a power of attorney, for example. So you do one, because when you die, that one original that you put wet ink on paper is what goes to the courts. So you will get, paper copy. You can have as many paper copies as you want. It's going to be like stamped copy. We're going to send you PDFs of it so you can have it in your phone. And so it's important to know that you have one. You have to keep up with it. So for our clients, we keep them in the office, right? I wasn't here during Katrina, but, heard stories certainly of people having their wills quite literally washed away. So, we keep ours in a fireproof safe on like the 31st floor of an office building. So, ideally as destruction proof as one could reasonably expect it to be. Interesting. A lot of people are like, well, I'll just put it in my safe deposit box at the bank. That's a catch-22 because sometimes we need your will to determine who has the power to get into your safe deposit box. So we have a real circular issue there. So people get kind of confused when I'm like, don't put it in your safe deposit box. So, if you have a lawyer who's doing your will for you, ask them kind of what their options are for storing it. And that way, when, you do ultimately pass away, your kids or your spouse can call and say, hey, dad died. You have his will. Yep, we'll get it ready and we'll send it over to the court.
Well, Miss Alicia's on line one. Good morning, Miss Alicia. Welcome to the Good Morning Show. You're on with Kathleen Gunn.
Good morning, all, and good morning to your guests. I don't know if you can answer this question for me, ma'am, but what do you do in the case of a trust? My grandfather had a trust, and it was managed by Hancock Bank, not Hancock Whitney, Hancock Bank, out of Gulfport, Mississippi. They did not do an inventory of his assets, some of his physical assets. And I'm going to go even to some people may seem petty. He was in the hospital when he passed. I had cousins in his house. And the trustee, she was aware of it, that they were living in his house while he was in the hospital. Now, mind you, they were caretakers while he was home. But when he died, so many things was missing. I'm saying, like, it's kind of petty to some people. But like, for instance, portraits of his grandmother and his mother and his grandmother always was on his wall. So when we went in to, start inventorying and, claiming what we wanted, what we didn't want, and blah, 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 according to his trust, what to do with it if we didn't want the stuff. I have been behind Hancock Bank for years to try to, and we know where those assets are, to retrieve those assets, and they're not doing it. They don't want to do it. I've been talking to so many of them. It's just ridiculous. I'm tired of it. What do you do? Who do we need to go to report this negligence and malfeasance?
Well, I'm sorry to hear that your family has had that experience, and I will tell you that you are certainly not alone in that having happened. So this is the situation you really hate to see happen as an estate planning attorney, because it can get really expensive and really time consuming, because that's when you're really, hiring a lawyer who's a litigator. I'm not someone who goes to court to kind of fight things out. So you're gonna, you would have to get someone who really specializes in kind of will and trust litigation to go to court to get like a court order to compel these sorts of actions that you're looking for. And so, we certainly, I have a fiduciary litigator at the firm who I work closely with. But it's something that is really regrettable because.
Right. Because everybody assumes that a trust is far better than a will. But when a trust fails and the trustees are not doing what they're supposed to do, it's a catch-22 if you ask me. But I thank you, and I'll listen to see your to get your contact information for your firm.
Thank you, Miss Alicia. I appreciate
Thank you.
Have a blessed one. Tough one, right?
Yeah,
I can
it
tell
is
the way
hard.
you were. Yeah, because it happens often.
It does.
Happens a lot. And that's why I think it's important to have the documents done in such a way that it's very clear what should happen. So what happens if a person doesn't have a will?
Well, I think for a lot of people, kind of at the most basic, it's going to be just slightly more complicated and more expensive for the people you leave behind. So that can be, and if everybody's on the same page and we're like, okay, this is what's going to happen. Yes, yes, yes. We all agree. The fact is that it's still a little more complicated than it is when you have a will. So just for that reason alone, just reducing the complexity I would say go ahead and have one. Even if it's like, well, the law would take care of it. Louisiana law would send my assets to the same place I would send them to. There are things that you can do in your will that just make it go quicker. You can authorize what's called independent administration. That's a really big tool in Louisiana. The courts kind of take a really hands-off approach, which makes it really quick and streamlined and efficient. So, even if someone has their cocktail napkin will, if, I want you to say that I name my son as independent executor. That's a huge step for you.
What are the limitations of, there are a lot of legal services and related services online these days. What are the limitations of those versus...
Yeah, there are a lot of, print the doc, fill in the blank, sign it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in Louisiana, again, kind of this all goes back to the form requirements that we have in the law. So by and large, those are not going to cut it, right? So you have to have, really specific language at the end of your will. They all have to be signed on every single page, for example, for a typed out will. So there are a lot of rules that I'll talk to a lawyer in Alabama or Texas, our neighbors, and they're like, oh no, like we don't touch Louisiana. Like we don't, because a lot of states have very similar requirements, but Louisiana, of course, we love to do things differently. So, lawyers in other states will like run away as fast as they can.
So since August is National Make a Will Month, how much does it cost to draft a will? That is the $1 million question.
Yes, not $1 million. So that's
not $1 million. How much does it cost to draft a will?
So it really, really runs the gamut. It really depends on the complexity of your estate, right? So you can get a lawyer who charges a flat rate fee. That maybe, it's more concrete. It's, you know exactly what to expect. You know what the cost is going in. Then if you have a more complex estate plan, where you've got, trusts and tax-based planning and all those sorts of things, the cost can really vary just because things kind of shift as you move along. And so, some lawyers will charge that flat rate fee, which a lot of people do like because obviously it's nice to know what you're paying, right? Mm-hmm. Other clients kind of will go in with an hourly based fee with their attorney, and we kind of just like work through it together. And there's certainly ballparks, but it can run.
It's a range.
Like the range is vast as well. So like I hesitate to put a dollar amount on it because I don't want to scare anybody, right?
I got you. Listen, that makes sense to me though,
but it's an investment.
It is
for your peace of mind.
It is
as you move on, so that others know. Here's my piece.
Yes.
Well, we have to let you go because you are quite literally baking a human being, and we don't want to hold you all day. But what I want you to do is give your contact information so the folk who are listening, if they want to reach out, have questions, maybe they want to hire your firm to represent their interests in terms of will planning, estate planning. How can they reach you?
So the easiest way to reach me is by email, and so it's Gunn, that's G as in George, UNN @stonepigman.com.
That is easy to remember. It's
Absolutely.
kgunn@stonepigman.com. That's for you, Miss Alicia. I hope you wrote that down. KGUNN @stonepigman.com. Thank you for being here.
It was so nice to meet both of you.
I appreciate you being here. Baby girl was in the building as well. When are you due?
Early October, so I get to go through all the hot months.
Oh,
so
my baby was born in October as well.
So you have that experience as well.
But he's a Katrina baby, so I wish I had a better experience. But yeah, he's a Katrina baby. But October 14th is his birthday.
Okay.
So baby girl, maybe we
won't
have a
be
birthday
going
twin. No. He's like, no, not happening. Well, thank you for being here. I appreciate you being here. Stay well and healthy.
Thank you.
And women do all of the work. Y'all get off so easy.
Hey, I tried to do as much as I could.
Thank you, Caitlin. You've been in a conversation with Caitlin Gunn talking about estate planning and administration. She's an administration specialist for Stone Pigman. That is KGUNN @stonepigman.com. Thank you for being with us. Thank you, Miss Alicia, for your call. We have to go to break, but when we come back, we're going to dive into it. We have vetoes to talk about.
Oh,
vetoes and court documents right here at WBOK 1230 AM with New Orleans is talking about
all day long.
This is Monica Pierre along with Sally Ann Roberts Daybone, co-host of Your Power is On.
Tune in Sunday mornings from 7 to 8 a.m. for music that feeds the spirit. Get your Sunday on.
Right here on WBOK 1230 AM and WBOK1230.com, the station you listen to all day long.
Good morning and happy Monday. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU News, and here's a look at today's headlines. First, the trial of a man accused of dismembering a woman in the 9th Ward gets underway. You may remember her body was found later in an old school bus. Benjamin Beal's trial was supposed to start back in April. He was first arrested in January of 2022 after police say they found Julia Dardar's remains inside a freezer located inside a converted school bus that they say belonged to Beal. His trial begins today at 9 a.m. Then we have some good news for drivers. The Claiborne Avenue Bridge is expected to reopen this morning. It has been closed for weeks, causing congestion as people looked for alternate routes. State transportation officials say the bridge will be open daily between 5 a.m. and 10 p.m. And finally, be prepared to see more traffic on the roads as schools across Southeast Louisiana return to class this week. Today, some students in Orleans Parish will start the new academic year. In addition, we want to let you know that those school zone cameras in New Orleans will not turn on this morning. And even if you do see one of them flashing, they won't be issuing tickets. That's as city officials work to meet new requirements passed during the most recent legislative session. And that's a look at today's headlines. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU News. Have a great day, and for the kiddos, have a great first day of school.
Tired of the impersonal, one-size-fit-all style of banking? You deserve a bank that delivers exceptional service and personalized attention to your needs. That's the Home Bank Standard. Since 1908, Home Bank has been a trusted financial partner for businesses and families because we go the extra mile to help you reach your goals. See for yourself why Home Bank is good for business, good for life. Stop by any New Orleans area location or find out more at home24bank.com. Home Bank, member FDIC.
Feeling stuck in your job? Dreaming of something more? It only takes one step to change everything. With the Urban League of Louisiana Skill Up Louisiana, you can train for high-paying careers in wind, solar, hydrogen energy, automotive, cybersecurity, AI, and more. This isn't a job, it's your future. A new career starts with one step. Your future is waiting. Visit urbanleaguela.org/apprenticeships to learn more and apply today.
Hello, I'm Gary Clark. Please tune in to Dr. Clark 101, The Living Classroom, which is broadcasted weekly every Wednesday at 12:30 p.m. on WBOK 1230 AM on your dial. And as always, it's been a pleasure.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM.
Good morning, Wake Up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK.
Show. I am your host, Dr. Ashanta Wyatt. Shout out to our super producer, Naira Sanders, and my co-host, Will Sutton. If you are just joining us, we were talking estate planning. August is National Make a Will Month. And so if you are interested in learning more about all of the particulars around estate planning and making a will for yourself, you can reach out to Caitlin Gunn at kgunn, Gunn, at stonepigman, STONEPIGMAN.com. all things estate planning. And shout out to Miss Alicia for calling in, because that was quite the question. I think a lot of families go through that. Our family went through some form of succession before. It's just always complicated when your business is just not in order. And a lot of folk don't think about it because we all think we have more time. And so you kind of put it off, and then you need it and it's not there. So reach out to Caitlin Gunn at Stone Pigment for all of your estate planning and will making needs. But right now, as we promised at the top of the show, we want to talk about the mayor and her veto power. And then what does it actually mean? Because then the city council, it is my understanding, can come back and do something to veto the veto, right? So Mayor LaToya Cantrell vetoes a measure to let voters make changes to city attorney's office. So what exactly does any of that mean for the folk who are listening? You just want to make it plain. There's been some... I guess we've been talking quite often
about this,
about limiting the mayor's powers in certain instances, or what is the council's role in terms of a governing body, and how does it fit in with the city attorney? Who does the city attorney represent? All of the things, right? And so the article says that on Friday, Mayor LaToya Cantrell vetoed legislation backed by the New Orleans City Council that proposed reshaping the city attorney's office, part of an escalating legislative showdown between the mayor and the council. The ordinance, approved at the council's July 25th meeting, would ask voters on the November 15th ballot to forbid the city attorney from taking sides in litigation between the mayor and the council, and to make it harder for the mayor to fire the city attorney, among other measures. Cantrell, in a statement, that's Mayor LaToya Cantrell, in a statement on Friday, repeated a criticism her office has frequently leveled at the council, calling the measure an attempt to erode her office's authority. We can stop right there. Well, what do you make of this thus far? I mean, because some of it, we've been talking here about that, and I've said on air that I find the position that the city attorney in, it feels convoluted and muddy, because whose interest do you represent? It should be the people.
Right.
It should be the voting populace. There should be no what the mayor wants or what the city council wants. It feels to me like the city attorney should be representing what is in the best interest of taxpayers. Am I wrong or off base
because
there?
the city charter says City of New Orleans,
which includes
City
taxpayers,
of New Orleans,
right? Yeah,
which is not the mayor, which is also is not
the
city council.
Yeah,
it's the City of New Orleans. So, but historically, we have read and acted on that charter provision based on whoever is elected mayor gets to appoint the city attorney. And that's been true for administration after administration after administration. And so now what's happened in more recent years is there are more disagreements. And let's be clear on this point. This is not just a Cantrell administration issue. There have been other administrations where city council and the mayor have disagreed on a legal matter, and it became a complicated thing. It's just that it's being highlighted now because this is the incumbent mayor. So the city attorney is hired by the mayor, which is his or her right to do, and that has been it. But the city attorney represents city council and the mayor.
So quick question. Do you believe that because the mayor hires the city attorney, that the city attorney can believe that there's some sort of allegiance there because she's the person that did the hiring as opposed to the city council? Because when I sit in some of these meetings and I listen to the council question the city attorney, it almost feels like she's trying not to say certain things, but if you're working for both entities, it's not like you are only trying to protect the interests of the person who hired you, but the city council is also the taxpayers. Like, if we have questions, is it not the city attorney's job to be as forthcoming and as transparent as possible to ensure that we have all of the information access to all of the information because
Right.
we pay our taxes. We want to understand what has happened with our government. The city attorney represents the interests of the taxpayers as well. So why does it feel like it's always a battle between another entity, which is the city council, that you also whose interests you also supposed to represent?
Right, and that's essentially what the city council has said, and not with some divided vote. I mean, in unison, that whoever is in this role, you should represent us too, because we are representing the people of New Orleans. And so what the measure that they passed is not a change to that position and not a change that would take effect immediately with their passage of the measure. All it does would be that it would be on the November ballot to ask the people, is this a change to the charter that you want to see enacted? If it were to be enacted, if the people said, yes, I want that to happen, then what would happen is the mayor, the next mayor, would appoint the city attorney. The city council would then have the opportunity to confirm or not confirm the appointee, which is now true with other offices. And then the person confirmed by council, chosen by the mayor, would start the job. But the job would be to represent the mayor and the city council.
Which is what I thought the job was already.
Correct. But that's not how we have lived and acted for decades.
So my question then becomes, if the only change is that there's a confirmation, so to speak, by the council of the appointee, is the veto because the mayor traditionally hires without a confirmation, is solely up to the mayor to hire? Is that what the veto is about? The shared power of this appointing and confirming this position?
No, that part has changed already. The city council now has the right and responsibility to confirm a number of department heads and a number of positions. That change has been made.
So the veto is to keep it from going to the ballot measure? Like,
no,
what's
no.
the veto for?
The veto is say, no, the people should not have a vote on this.
That's what I mean, to keep it from going to the ballot measure.
That's right.
Okay.
So now the city council has the opportunity to consider, we accept the mayor's veto and then nothing would happen, or we all agreed, and so we're going to override the mayor's veto, and yes, you voters will make the decision.
And I've said this openly on the air. I just feel like the city attorney's position feels like a no-win situation in some instances, because it's like you represent the mayor, you're also supposed to represent the interests of the council, but then it feels like it's a no-win. It feels like if I say this one thing and it goes against, my representation of the mayor, or if I don't say this thing and it puts me in the crosshairs of the council, it just feels very like it feels muddy.
So
I don't know how to unmuddy it. Like I don't know what do we do there.
Let's use a business analogy for not a rank and file employee, not a middle level manager, but in a C-suite kind of person, and the CEO has hired that person to be vice president, executive president.
Then the board got to confirm it?
No. But there's a dotted line relationship to this other person in the company. Now, if there is a debate between the CEO and this other executive, who do you think this employee is going to favor? The dotted line relationship?
No, the bold line.
Direct. That's exactly right.
But
city
in this
council,
instance, who is the bold line?
And
is it
that's
the mayor?
what city council wants to make clear. It is the city of New Orleans, and we are representatives of the citizens of New Orleans.
But so is the mayor.
Right.
So I'm just still trying to understand, what does that mean? So is the mayor. The mayor is also supposed to be a representation of the city of New Orleans.
Absolutely.
So I'm in this scenario that you've created, who would you consider the dotted line? Who would you consider the bold line? Because they're both operating in the capacity of representation by way of voters.
Right.
Because we voted all of these people in then what direction are we going in? That's why I say it still feels very convoluted to me. It feels very, and I guess I'm struggling to understand, how do we get to this impasse now? If we've been operating in this vein all of these years, what makes this time different, or what makes the time thereafter any different than how we've frequently operated or historically operated? Because whatever the change is, it's not going to only affect the Cantrell administration, it's going to affect administrations to come.
Okay.
So
how about we use the example of how much the city owes to the schools?
Let's use it.
All right.
Mhm.
So the city attorney reporting to the mayor,
Mhm.
being responsible technically for the mayor and the city council, but the city council having a very different view
Yes.
of that. So is the city attorney going to say that I'm going to agree with the city council on this one? I mean, just flat out say, I'm going to agree with
This one is easier for me.
I know it
Will.
is. That's why I'm using this.
but
And that's
no,
why I'm using
I
this.
feel like it's easier because I'm going to tell you this. If as a principal, right?
Right.
We're going to use this example. If as a principal, if I get money that is earmarked title money,
Right.
I cannot touch title money to do no discretionary BS with it.
Right.
I have to say what I've done with this title money, and it has to be in alignment with the title requirements, right?
Right.
So I can't take title money and go get me and throw a party for my staff. That's not what title money is for.
Yeah, absolutely.
So my point is, it's easier for me to weigh in on this because that was never
And
that was
and
never the city's money.
And that's why
it
I'm
was
using that
for
example.
the school.
That's right.
So in this instance, the city attorney can't agree with nobody but what the money is earmarked for, and it's for the kids. And so in that case, the city council wins this argument because the city council is saying this is earmarked money for the children. We don't get to willy-nilly use it at our discretion. It's not ours. You were only supposed to be a pass-through for the money. You were never supposed to be the gatekeeper or the fiduciary agent to say you're supposed to just pass it through, come from your hands to the board's hands to do what the money is earmarked for. To me, that's an easier thing,
Right.
because it has teeth on it. That money has teeth on it. That money is not discretionary. It's not at the discretion of the council. It's not at the discretion of the mayor. It's not at the discretion of the city attorney. It is for the children.
Mhm.
So you don't get to touch it, right? So for me, that's easier.
Right.
But this situation right here with the whole who does she listen to or whose interest does she represent? Because there's three entities here. We voted for these people. So
Right.
it's us in the middle.
Right.
It's the mayor over here and the council over here, but they're supposed to be doing the will of us.
Right.
So I guess in that regard, why is it a problem for the vote to happen? Some people would think that, right? But then the other problem is, if we've historically been operating like this, what makes this any different? Because it's not going to just change the last 5 months of this mayor's term. Is going to
It will
change the way we do business moving forward.
Absolutely.
So for me, I'm still in this bubble of gray, like the city attorney is in between a rock and a hard place. Because what you're supposed to do is what the people say do, because the people elected these people. It's for us to decide what happens. And so when these two people don't get along, I think the people have to come in and decide what they want for their city.
And that's what city council is saying. We're not telling you you have to do this. We're telling you that you should weigh in on whether we should do this, and it should happen in November. And if this changes, this means a more balanced approach for the city attorney moving forward. And our safeguards are, one, the confirmation hearing, which is now required for key officers. And then, two, if this passes, then the mayor would still appoint the city attorney. The city council would use its new responsibility to confirm a city
You know
attorney. Wait. There's one more step.
Go ahead.
If the mayor were to decide to fire the city attorney, the city council with 5 votes could say,
You don't get to
they're
get fired.
No.
And that makes it even muddier because now you're going
But
back to a
I'm
place
just-
that try to fire you. But
Mhm.
you know what the thought I had, and I know we got to go to break because our
Yeah,
GM is
right,
flagging us
right.
now. But I just thought about all this is happening around the council, but we got a lame duck school board. Like, why we don't have
Mhm.
all of these provisions and things in place to force the school board to have a more intimate relationship with their with their duties and responsibilities. That's just what crossed my mind, because this is muddy to me, and I just feel like it doesn't have a clean answer, because somebody gonna get their feelings hurt. But I honestly feel bad for the city attorney, because it feels like a no-win situation. You agree with the council, you agitating the mayor. You agree with the mayor, you're agitating the council, but then we stuck in the middle, like, who listening to us?
Right.
Where we get a say at,
Right.
right? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
We going vetoes and court records. That's what
Yeah,
we're talking
right,
about right here.
absolutely.
WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about.
All day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Another hot day is expected. A few coastal showers moving inland as we head throughout the afternoon. Highs reach the low 90s for as heat index stays just below heat advisory criteria. Any of these isolated showers and thunderstorms could produce some heavy rainfall at times, but most of this will be on the isolated side. More of that continues as we head throughout the rest of the week. From the WDSU First Warning Weather Center, I'm Raven Richard.
Hey everybody, it's Graylin Bryant Banks
and Kimber White Dupree
from the front porch.
Some combos are too good to miss. Now you can pull up a chair to the front porch anytime.
Just search WBOK Media and subscribe to the Front Porch Podcast.
Download, share, and hit us with a 5-star rating, because New Orleans culture deserves to be heard loud and clear.
Are you passionate about community safety and police accountability? Tune in to The Monitor's Mic, where we talk about oversight, policing, and you. Hosted by the Office of Independent Police Monitor, we're here to shine a light on policing issues that matter. From real-time policing updates to in-depth interviews. Get the facts and stay informed. We're breaking down complex issues, highlighting community voices, and holding people behind the badge accountable. Join us for an informative hour every Friday at noon on WBOK. Your city, your police, your show. The Monitor's Mic.
Hey, New Orleans, look for important changes to your natural gas service. This summer, Delta Utilities takes over for Entergy Gas with a Louisiana-born, Louisiana-based approach to safe, clean, reliable natural gas. No interruptions or rate changes due to the transition, just dependable service and modernized technology to keep you running smoothly. Get to know us at deltautilities.com and stay tuned for more later this summer. Delta Utilities, focused on natural gas, committed to New Orleans.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation is the nonprofit organization that owns the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival, presented by Shell. With the funds generated from Jazz Fest, the foundation invests in Louisiana companies through economic development, cultural enrichment, and free educational programs. To learn more about what the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation does, please visit www.jazzandheritage.org.
Hey everybody, it's Kimber White Dupree.
And it's Graylin Bryant Banks from the front porch. We're coming up next.
Good morning, Wake Up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
And we are back, and it is Monday. Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome back to the Good Morning Show. Look, hey, Maddie. Maddie in the chat saying, hey, Doc, I thought we were celebrating you for your 1-year anniversary. And we will, Maddie, we will. I'm about to throw my GM on the spot right now. What we doing to celebrate me? It's been a whole year around here. What's up? The people want to know. What's going on here? We going to have like a little call-in, like, and the people going to come talk to me. They all should know my favorite show by now. Like, what do you know about Dr. Wyatt? Fun facts. What we doing?
Yeah,
little trivia or something. What are we doing, Mr. Jim?
I think that'll be fun. Little trivia. We'll set it up. Have people call in.
We
get on the chat.
We gotta do something.
And we're accepting all donations.
Sounds like a GM.
I'm just saying. I think that we should be doing some extraordinary stuff around here to celebrate me, because it's been quite the year, huh? Don't you think? I started with OT as OT's co-host. No, first I started as a guest. Yeah. I had a segment on here. It was a segment about education, and I started to come on about that. And then I became OT's co-host, right? I was passenger seat riding, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then I had to hold this thing down by myself for a little while. And then I went on vacation, and I came back, and the NABJ journalist himself was in the building. And so it's been quite the year up in here. So we are definitely, Maddie, shout out to you for bringing it back to the forefront.
Yeah.
You know, shout out to AP for putting it in my text. Like somebody in the chat said, what we doing to celebrate you? Well, we definitely going to celebrate it. Let me tell y'all a secret. I'm going to lean into this secret. Put your phone close to your face. Turn the volume up.
All right, here we go.
August
just
18th.
between us.
Just between us. Don't tell nobody else. Don't tell nobody else.
Nobody else. Just W. It's the fam.
Yes.
Fam. No,
August,
just
August 18th is going down, right?
Oh, yeah?
So mark that in your calendar.
August 18th?
Yeah, August 18th, 1-8.
Okay. All right.
Put that in your calendar.
Okay.
And I'm talking about bang. It's going to be a bang, big explosion.
All right.
Yeah,
go.
they better.
All right.
Second line and everything. Like, we're going like I'm exaggerating at this point.
All right.
But no, August 18th, Maddie, you going to know all of the goings-ons. I'm going to let you know all of the goings-ons right here on the air. I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to talk real nice to you on the 18th. But leading up to the 18th, yes, we are going to talk about me at some point every day for just a few minutes.
That's it?
Just a few minutes.
That's it.
You can call in
You
and
ain't
show me
gonna tell
some
us about
love.
August
I expect
18th?
to hear from Pop.
What
I
about
expect to
August
hear from
18th?
Larry.
Oh,
It's
we
going
just-
down on the 18th.
Oh, we just putting a date out there?
You putting a date out there, yeah. We're going to certify
That's
the
it?
date, the 18th, yes.
That's it. That's all we get. That's the secret.
That's all you get. Like,
That's all we get.
If I tell you
August
any more,
18th.
Will, I might have to.
All right.
If I tell you any more, Will,
All right.
nah,
She said it's a secret, y'all.
Yeah, because
so
if I tell you any
keep
more, it's going
August
to be at
18th.
NOLA.com. You gonna write about it. Then my
August
announcement on the 18th ain't going to
Okay,
be,
let's-
it ain't going to hit the same.
Put it on the calendar.
Put it on the calendar, and I'm welcoming
No
all
summary.
callers all week. All week, you can call in and tell me how much you love me, or how much you think that I need to humble myself.
Okay.
Or you can tell me what Larry told me when I first met him. You just arrogant. You can call and tell me whatever you think about
Okay.
me. The phone line's gonna be open, and you can tell me. I'm gonna give away some tickets too to this comedy show that is being put on by Inspire NOLA, and I think all the questions gonna have to do with me. So if you listen to the show, you should know the answer to these things. Like, y'all should know my son's
And that's
name by
coming
now.
August 18th?
Y'all should know what school he go to.
That's
yeah,
coming
y'all
August
should know my
18th?
mama name.
That's coming August 18th?
August 18th. No, we
not
gonna get it.
before.
I might
We're
do
gonna
something on the 14th.
Okay. All right.
I might give away something on the 14th.
Okay.
It's a special month, Will. It's
Okay. I hear
it's
you.
my
I
1
hear you.
year
I hear you.
radioversary.
Absolutely.
Who would have thunk it, Will, that I would be a
Absolutely.
radio personality?
Yep,
It's been one of the joys of my career. I'm not even much going to lie to you.
Lord
I really
moves in
appreciate
mysterious ways.
He does. Oh, but I also want to shout out our Senator Dr. Joseph Bowie. He had his first day of work on Friday.
Sure did.
As the chancellor of the Southern University at New Orleans. And so y'all should drop it in the chat and say, happy first day, Chancellor. And listen, it went very, very well. So today is his second day on the job. And I already believe that Suno is in the best hands you could ever find. So shout out to our senator, our warrior, our revolutionary over there, changing the landscape of Suno for the better. And he's just getting started. It's only day 2.
Only
and
day
everybody's excited.
Yeah.
But yeah, Maddie, we're gonna celebrate me all month. But on the 14th, I'm gonna tell you something nice, and on the 18th, I'm gonna give it all to you. So
Okay.
just mark those 2 days on your calendar, and we're gonna give away some stuff here leading up to the 14th and the 18th, so that I can thank y'all for loving on me the way that you do. Even the constructive criticism is love. You know what I mean? Even the not so great feedback is all love. It's all love. I love my job. Trust me, I do. I get to talk to y'all every day. But what you know about the court records being destroyed?
Oh my goodness.
What do you know about it?
What else can happen in the city of New Orleans?
And it says they moved the containers without notice, and that is per Clerk Darren Lombard. He is saying some documents inside of containers were moved without notice. How could that even be? How do you do
These
something
are
like
clerk
that?
records, y'all.
Yeah.
Clerk records.
Yeah.
Dumped into a debris field.
Yeah.
Mixed with general trash.
Yeah. He's calling it egregious negligence. And I think that's putting it nicely, because I know if I know him like I think I know him, he probably wanted to season his words, but because it's in an article, he had to be nice. Like, we have to be nice, or the FCC gonna find us, because I got some words, that I could use for this too, but I like egregious. It's actually one of my favorite words. But how do you move court records without notice? And not only do you move them, you're destroying them. Like, you're throwing them basically in a landfill. Like, how does that happen? How does that happen, Will?
Well, let's go to.
Are there
what,
not cameras
let's
to
go,
show us who moved them, who touched them, who picked them up? Like what's going on here?
Absolutely. And let's go to the what are we talking about part.
Mm-hmm.
And Missy Wilkinson at NOLA.com reported, just as one paragraph, the containers held court documents from closed capital cases, including murder and aggravated rape cases, Lombard said. Many of the records date back to the 1950s through the 1970s and are subject to lifelong retention requirements. Staffers were able to gather the documents before Friday's afternoon rain. We are still evaluating how many were destroyed. As a lifelong retention requirement, yet somebody thought it was okay to throw them away.
See, I have a problem with this because I read what's being said, but then I hear what's not being said.
Yeah.
Because this just does not feel accidental to me, because at the bottom part of the paragraph says Lombard called for a formal investigation by the mayor's office and the chief administrative officer, as well as the director of bar and city agencies, from moving or discarding court property without authorization. You would think that would just be a protocol, right?
It would seem to be. Why you gonna move my stuff
without talking to me?
My stuff on behalf of the city.
Let me tell you
but
something.
My stuff.
Let me tell you something. If I got something in here, this is WBOK. This ain't even no courthouse.
Right.
But if I have something in here, you don't have the right to put your hands on it and throw it away without talking to me about
Right.
it. It ain't yours. It's
Right.
mine.
Yeah.
We have these little pockets with our names on it, where our mail goes
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
I'd be doggone if you put your paws on my stuff and just
Right.
think it's not important to you, so you're gonna throw it away.
Right.
That's insane.
Yep.
And so I don't understand how we need a directive barring city agencies from moving or discarding court property without authorization. Shouldn't that not just be ingrained in the way we do business here? Is that not in the protocol? Is that not like bold, italicized, underlined for any agency? And I want to know what agency moved it. I want to know who moved it. Do we not have cameras? Do we not see who picked the boxes up? Do we not see the vehicle that they put them on? Do we not see the license plate as they drive away? Like, where are the documents? How does it make it to a landfill or wherever it went and nobody knows how, who, what, when? I don't like it. I don't like
Yep.
it, Will.
Yep. Not
And-
sure who
and-
moved it, but
and-
it got to the Department of Public Works.
The Department of Public Works. That's
Mhm.
where it got to. And they're not sure who moved it.
Mm-hmm.
But they know it was capital cases with rape and all of these very important
Very important.
stuff. Because here's the thing. What if these people still have appeal rights? Like, what if they still have like court proceedings that they can use to try to put their cases back in front of a judge or something, and now keep information is missing? Then what happens there? You know what I mean? Because I understand that the clerk, because he's the clerk, much like I understand because Sheriff Susan Hudson is the boss, I understand heavy is the head that wear the crown. They got to take the good, the bad, whatever. But if I'm any of those people, I'm trying to get to the origin of the issue, and heads need to be rolling like bowling pins, because I don't understand how we can make a mistake this big. It doesn't feel much like a mistake to me. That's just my big opinion. This is not the opinion of WBOK or Will Sutton. This is just Dr. White's big opinion. It just does not feel like a mistake to me. Like you're gonna throw. It's not like you threw away like agendas, you know what I'm saying, or meeting notes, or script. You like
Or you accidentally picked up a file folder.
Like,
Big old cargo containers. Big old cargo containers.
Like you didn't throw out the Christmas decorations. You know what I'm saying? Like, this kind of foolishness has to stop. And I just don't know what the origin of it is, but I do know it doesn't look good for the city. Even though it's a department within the city, it just doesn't look good for the city, because it makes us look like we cannot govern ourselves, or we don't know how to manage ourselves, or we can't keep the things in line. And I don't buy that narrative. I'm not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe. Something in the water ain't clean, and we need to find out what it is. I want to know who moved these documents, who put them wherever to get them. So where they at in the waste?
Department of Public Works.
And now they're in with all kind of other trash.
Some of it destroyed. Some of it they were able to recover, but now they're looking at to figure out
Project
what's
NOLA
missing.
don't have no camera that can help us.
What's missing?
Project NOLA don't have no cameras. We ain't got no doorbell footage where we can track the vehicle.
We're gonna have to make way for the next folks, but help us, somebody help us make this make sense.
Help us, somebody.
Help us make this make sense, because this
The math
just
ain't mathin'.
doesn't make sense.
The math ain't mathin'. That's what I'm hearing you say. The math ain't mathin'.
Come on,
Look,
please.
I appreciate all of y'all, for spending 2 hours of your morning with me. I meet somebody almost every week. Every single week, I meet somebody who says, I wake up, to hear the morning show. I fight my sleep trying to listen to you talk in the morning. I appreciate you for being on air. I appreciate the way you tell the truth. And here's the thing: for 10 people who love the way that I deliver the news, there's somebody out there that don't like it so much. And I appreciate you too, because guess what? They all listening, right, Will?
Yeah, right.
It's all engagement. So we appreciate you, and I thank you for rocking with me. Like, y'all been rocking with Doc for a year, and we gonna celebrate that, child. I'm excited. There's big news on the horizon. I cannot wait to share it with you. And when I do, you better act like you're happy. You better act like
Well, at least we know. At least we know it's happy news. At least we know it's happy news.
It is happy
we got
news.
Another layer.
Look,
happy news.
We're going to do this TikTok. The station, put this on your calendar. The station is going to do this TikTok. Now we're going to know. Y'all might be a little too advanced to know, but now we're going to know what I'm talking about. They got a TikTok, right, where the person comes on and they like, my friend got something to tell y'all, and y'all better act like y'all listening.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then the friend move out the way, and the person step up and give you the news. That's what we
right.
going to do. So we all going to get in the line, and Justin going to say, our host of the morning show got something to tell y'all, and y'all better act like y'all excited. And now we're going to say, you better act like you listening. And then you going to say, listen to my host. I'm directing this thing. You see how I'm putting it together? I really be having too much fun.
I want to see that
Naren part. Naren gonna get all of the content, and he gonna put the music behind it. It's gonna be a whole. We need to get the owners up in here so they can participate in this. Yeah, I'm talking about you, Jeff Thomas. I'm talking about you, Troy Henry. I don't know. Wendell might be able to Skype in or something, huh?
Yeah,
FaceTime
right.
or something. He needs to be a part of this celebration. Look, y'all, I appreciate you, Maddie, for asking. I appreciate you, AP, for dropping it in my comments so I can bring it to the airwaves. I appreciate all of y'all who are engaging in the chat each and every day. I want y'all to know I have fun on the airwaves. Even when it's serious, I have a whole lot of fun. So thank y'all for rocking with us. Y'all stay tuned up next for The Front Porch with Graylin and Kimba, which happens to be one of my favorite shows. If y'all didn't know that.
Absolutely.
I love The Front
Y'all
Porch.
better write that down.
Because I could just be a Shanta. I could just be a Shanta Sandra's daughter on The Front Porch, but I got to be Dr. Wyatt when I'm talking about all this heavy good stuff. So y'all stay tuned up next for The Front Porch.
Bye. Come on.
We're Graylin and Kimba. But this was a Good Morning Show. My super producer, Naren Santos, my GM, Justin Lewis, and my co-host, Will Sutton. We're going to see y'all tomorrow. This is WBOK, 12:30 a.m. when New Orleans is talking about
all day long.